Hi everyone, I'm Mr. Reznick. I'm one of the SAT teachers at ALTO, and I'm putting together a very short presentation here to try to help anyone who's preparing for the SAT now or planning to do so in the near future, because I would like to help all of you save yourselves a lot of pain and stress and wasted time. Let me explain what we're looking at here. This is a reading passage from a College Board SAT. And as you can tell, we went through and we highlighted all of the words that might be challenging, the vocab words that might slow someone down or make it hard to answer questions. The first thing you should notice is right up here in the intro, we've got a very dense concentration of challenging words. And so you can see pretty quickly that anybody who doesn't already know words like nuance or prosaic is going to have a very difficult time even just getting started on this passage. We can see that overall there are about 20 unique words that somebody who doesn't know is going to find confusing. So what can we do when we're prepping for the SAT to try to get rid of some of this red? Maybe some of you have fewer red spots than our imaginary student here, and if so, that's great, but the bottom line is anybody who wants to prep for the SAT really should try to do so with a pretty well-developed vocab. So let me talk about some of the things that we've done at ALTO to try to help our students get to that point, to have a stronger vocab even before you sit down in an SAT class to try to do lots of problem solving. Well, back in 2019, what we did is we put together a tremendous number of spreadsheets. We spent more than a month on this project collecting lots and lots of College Board passages, doing a lexical analysis, and the long story short, we were able to come up with a 1,000 word list. We call it our Vital Vocab list. And let's take a look at what happens. This is the same passage we saw a second ago. And if a student can actually learn those 1,000 words, just 1,000 words total, the experience changes pretty dramatically. So after learning 1,000 high-frequency vocab words, you can see this passage here suddenly gets a lot easier to learn. So my main message for anyone who wants to get started is you really should start learning the high-frequency vocab words as soon as you possibly can. This is not something you want to be starting on the first day of an SAT prep class. So in the second half of the video, I'm going to show you some of the specific resources that we've put online to help you get started and do that. But really, really important for you to realize, if you're starting down here, the SAT is just going to be impossible. It's going to be a guessing game, and your score will always remain below 700. Again, your reading-writing score will get stuck down there. But if you're starting up here, you actually have a pretty good chance of understanding most of what you read. Now, our class doesn't end with 1,000 words. It turns out that somebody who wants to go higher than 700 cannot stop there. In fact, after you learn about 3 of our vocab books, which we usually give our students during SAT class, the situation improves even more. And if we look at one more passage, you can see what I mean even more clearly. Students often know that the most difficult part of the SAT is reading the historical passage in the reading section, like this one here that was published back in 1790. It's just impossible to read if you don't have a well-developed vocab. You can see right away that the difficulty of some of these vocab words is also a little higher than what we saw a minute ago. Indefatigable and bequest and fallible. It's just too challenging of a passage for somebody who doesn't have a pretty decent vocab. But once again, see what happens if you learn just 1,000 words. It's not perfect, but your situation changes dramatically. So remember, if you can get to this point here, learning our vital vocab words before you start your SAT prep, you are really at a massive, massive advantage over somebody who's starting much closer to this level here. So we're going to move on to the second half now of the video, and let's take a look at some of the things that you can do, like starting today, to try to get yourself up to this point so that when you're sitting down to take an SAT, you're not just playing guessing games. Let's take a look.